Good afternoon. We're back. Okay. I'm learning about middleware in Go today. Network Bib, you're back. Hello, Network Bib. Good to see you. Good to see you. That was a big yawn. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Can't have an HTTP framework without middleware. There's got to be middleware. Hey, Opie, stop licking. I swear, every time I start to stream, my dog gets so worked up. It's 9 p.m. where I am, so I go to sleep in a few minutes. Well, nice. Yeah, you want to make sure you get your sleep in. It's 2 p.m. here. So it's a ways away for the sleep. My dog's name is Opie. He's a dachshund, like a wiener dog if you've ever seen one of those. He's a good guy. He's a little old. Getting a little cranky in his old age. But don't we all, you know? Don't we all? Alright, so it wouldn't be a middleware tutorial without starting with some logging, huh? Alright, let's see. Ugh. So this is just classic, right? This is what everyone says about Go is just data structures and functions, right? So this is classic. We're literally just declaring a function that accepts a handler and then calls that back. And it returns a function that calls that function. This is very much how middleware works in all the JS frameworks. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Cute name. Do you know the Wiener Dog song? No, I do not know the Wiener Dog song. I do not know. That's quite a song there, Network Bib. We're declaring a func that returns a func that calls a func. Classic functional programming. Classic. I'm declaring a func that returns a func that calls a func. Classic functional programming. Let's see here. Log.println. Whoops. That's not a method. Takes the writer, takes the request. Alright, and then we're going to declare some others. We're going to have func foo. I'm locked in here for a second. Let's see. What the fuck is middleware? Network bib. Middleware is like, it's just basically, you know, almost every HTTP framework basically organizes around this idea of a pipeline. You know, you have a request come in, then you have a response come out. And so middleware... Can you turn the music? Oh, yeah, I can turn it up. Basically, middleware just allows you to make sure and perform some sort of action as part of that pipeline. And in this case, the middleware they had me implement was some logging middleware that basically just makes sure that it logs the URL path on every request. That's the gist. But yeah, you can't really have an HTTP framework really without that concept of middleware. If you've ever used Express before, you probably have used middleware. .NET has the same idea. Yeah, middleware is middleware. I like the way you explain that, Ton. MD, hello, sir. Hello, MD. Sorry, I missed your message. Was not paying attention. Okay, allow. And then let's split the terminal, which is Alt-Shift-. There you go. And then we'll start hitting this. So we'll say foo. And then you see it logged it out up here. Bar. Logged it out again. Look at there, that's the middleware in action. Okay, so middleware is really simple. You're basically just gonna declare a function that returns a function that calls your function. Yeah, okay, that's pretty straightforward. All right, but I think there's like some advanced usage now. Hold on, let me stop this server. All right. This example will show you how to create a more advanced version of middleware in Go. A middleware in itself simply takes the HTTP.handler func as one of its parameters, wraps it, and returns a new HTTP handler func for the server to call. Here we define a new type of middleware, which makes it eventually easier to chain multiple middlewares together. This idea is inspired by Matt Ryer's talk about building APIs, including the talk here. Huh. Well, this is a long time ago. This is almost 10 years ago. Wonder where this guy is now. Matt Ryer. Matt Ryer Golang. Network bib. I only use Python, JS, HTML, CSS, and I'm learning C. Yeah, man, network bib. You gotta go to sleep, man. Go to sleep. Don't stay up for me. There's not going to be anything that happens during this stream that's going to be exciting enough to miss out on your sleep. I mean, I think Django, if you use Python, I don't know what you use to build backends, but I think Django has middleware. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to really find a framework that doesn't have an idea of middleware, an HTTP framework, and they're almost all implemented like this, right? You just here's this guy. Looks like he works at Grafana. He's obviously had a very successful career. Oh, there's a mock interface. Look, mocking is a thing in Go. Mock is a tool that generates a struct from an interface. This struct can be used in test code as a mock of the interface. Excuse me. Yeah, I haven't really got into testing too much yet in Go. Huh. Networks, but your streams are exiting and fun to watch. Most of the streamers don't react to the comments. Oh, well, that's too bad. I would figure that's the whole point of streaming, is to, I mean, unless you're like streaming with, like, you're playing video games with your friends or something, maybe less so, but like, what's the point of streaming if you're not going to interact with people? Might as well just make videos then, huh? That's too bad to hear. Although I personally watch a lot of streamers, and I don't really chat much with the guys I watch. Like, I watch the Primeagen, I watch Tim the Tap Man, Nick Mercs, and I just watch. Like, I don't really interact in their chat. Network bib. Just 99% of the chat is me. It is you. Yeah. I appreciate you, man. But I hope you have a good night's sleep. So thanks for hanging out, both in this stream and my earlier stream. It is appreciated. It is not expected, but it is appreciated. So this is like a middleware factory. Create a new middleware. Define the HTTP handler func, which is called by the server eventually. Do middleware things, then call the next middleware handler in the chain. Return the newly created handler. This is kind of like what's the pattern? Chain of responsibility pattern. This is very similar to that, where you're just kind of building up a link of middlewares. Okay, so so now we type middleware, and we type that to func HTTP handler. Make sure that URL can be requested with specific method, also returns 400 bad request. Chain applies middlewares to an HTTP handler. Where does this method get called, though, in their example? MD, I see you're live daily, sir. Oh, well, thanks for hanging out, MD. It's the first time I feel like I've seen you in the chat, but appreciate you supporting daily basis, man. That's awesome. Appreciate you. Maybe this is just illustrative. Yeah, this must just be illustrative. Okay. Let's rename this to basic. Actually, let's make a new. Yeah, I guess since I don't have a lot of people in the chat, I can just turn the music up, huh? Excuse me. Oh, it'd help if I could. Alright, so we return a func, which takes HTTP.handler func. And this, and then this is going to return a func. Oh my goodness. This is why people get screwed up a little bit when you start getting into more complex functional programming. A func? That returns a func? That returns a func? Okay, start. Time.now. And then defer func. This I learned about from someone in chat. So basically defer will only run once something has gone out of scope. Time dot, oh, time dot since, that's nice. Okay, and then I need to actually run the callback. So WR. Why is this angry? Expression must be a function call. Oh, I need to immediately invoke this. Like that. Okay, there we go. Jesus follower, how are you doing? I'm doing well. How are you doing, Jesus follower? Network bib, guess who's back? Back again. I don't need it. No, you should really get sleep, man. You say you don't need it, and then you need it, and then you miss it. Jesus follower, huh? What do you mean, huh? You said, how are you doing? So I said, how are you doing back? Oh no, I just closed all my... Excuse me. Okay, and then func method. Oh, so this is how that library, Gorilla Mux probably does some of its implementation. This is basically a method that's going to ensure that the path can be, or the basically ensures that the URL can only be requested with a specific method. So we'll say func http.handler func Okay, so if r.method does not equal m, http.status text, http.status. Should it be bad request or should it be... I feel like it shouldn't be bad request. I feel like it should be something else. I feel like it should be like not found. Or maybe it should be probably method not allowed is what it should be. There you go. Not enough arguments. Oh. That's the status text. Status method not allowed. Oh. There we go. Look at me. Oh, now I need to return. Network bib likes Steam. Just do forbidden. No, I'm gonna do method not allowed. I mean, that seems the most what's the word? Idiosyncratic? Is that the word I'm looking for? No, that seems the most correct. No, not idiosyncratic. Idiomatic? Idiomatic. Using, containing, or denoting expressions that are natural to a native speaker. Yeah, that seems the most idiomatic for HTTP, is to respond with method not allowed. Network bib. I meant stream. Well, there's only 7 people here, so it's okay if they don't like it. Tontai. Let try Go Kali or Go Zior. I've never heard of either of those things, but I'm pretty new to Go, so Go Kali. What's that? Go Kali. Elegant scraper and crawler framework. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then what was the other thing you said? Go Zior? I'm not sure if you spelled that one right. Go Zior. Huh. I'm not sure what that one is. No, but right now I'm just trying to get my feet under me, like trying to figure out how to do things in Go. So I'm not really exploring too many libraries and whatnot. I'm just trying to learn the basics. Okay, then if it is the right method though, I need to call the handler. All right, and then we're going to define one more of these like helper. I'm going to call this a chain. Excuse me. Let's see, middlewares. This is an interesting syntax. Let's see, http.handler bunk. This is kind of interesting. I haven't seen the signature in Go yet. Who do we want to explain? We'll use Claude today. We can use Claude to explain things. Network bib. If you don't like the stream, my nanobots will eat your legs. Oh my goodness, network bib. Don't threaten people. Let's see. What does this mean in Go when present in a method signature? What do the 3 dots mean? What is this? A variadic parameter? The notation has specific meaning and behavior in Go. It allows the function to accept 0 or more arguments of the type middleware. Oh, okay. So this is kind of like in C# we have the params keyword. So this is basically the same idea. Yeah. So in C# this would be like using the params keyword. Correct? Yes. Okay, cool. Yep. Easy enough. Looky there, I didn't even know Go could do that. I learned something new today. Steve1E, sup. What's up, Steve1E? Steve1E, tomorrow I should have EXE of my weather app. Steve1E, alert. Okay, nice. Yeah, go ahead. Go eat, man. Have a good meal. Yeah, I look forward to seeing your weather app, dude. For sure. The UI looked very pretty that you shared in Discord. Okay, and this is then how you loop. So you say for discard m range middlewares f equals m. Well, you call the middleware, and the middleware returns another middleware, and that becomes the next one in the chain. I'm guessing this is the index, huh? If I didn't discard this, yeah, that's the index. Okay. All right, and then we'll define an actual route handler here. So we'll say hello w http dot response writer r http dot request. Oops. Format dot f line w. Hello world. All right, now here's where the magic is, right? And all that code we wrote basically allows us to do this. http.handle func. And then now we can create our chain. So actually, let's just create a local handler. We'll say handler is this, which is a chain of middlewares. The first one is hello. Then method is get and logging. Like that. Format, print line. Server is listening on port 8080. And http.listen. Okay. How do I move my focus? Focus to the next pane. Control Alt left. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to CD up, CD to advanced middleware. Go run. Okay. Curl. Nice. What if I do, how do I specify the method in curl? Curl specify method. What is that, dash X? Yeah, dash X. So if I say dash X put, yeah, method not allowed. Nice, it works. Network bib. Why use a weather app if you can look outside? That was a good question, man. But a lot of people use weather apps, including myself. It's a very valid question. Okay, so now we know about middleware. Although this is super ugly. If I have to say so myself, this is super ugly. Which is probably why in an earlier tutorial they told me to look at Gorilla Mux, which implements a lot of that same functionality. You can do R methods, R.schemes, .headers, and you can chain them all. Yeah. But I understand the concept. Although they also, the other thing I don't like about this is they run in reverse, don't they? Because if I put, let's see, if I put hello over here, oh, I can't put hello over there. Yeah, from the way I built this handler gets called last. The first handler gets called last. This gets called last. I feel like it would look better to be able to say, I'm not gonna get too hung up on this, but I feel like it would be ergonomic to do logging or method. No, I think we want logging. Logging method. Which I think I just need to rework how I'm doing the chain calling, but no worries. Okay, we're following the tutorial. Don't think about it too hard there, Steven. Okay. Yep. Alright, so now we know how to do middleware. So that's good. This example will show you how to store data in session cookies using the popular Gorilla Sessions package in the Go programming language. Yeah, I guess if you're going to do server-side rendering, you probably need to know how to do sessions. I mean, I guess if you're going to do anything with an HTTP framework, you probably need to know how sessions are handled. Alright, Network Bib. See you, man. Have a good night. I'm worried that this is way too loud. I'm gonna turn this down. Alright, cookies are small pieces of data stored in the browser of a user and are sent to our server on each request. Super secret key. I have so many questions about as I'm going through these tutorials. I have so many questions about, like, from an architecture perspective of an app, how people do this in Go. But I need to not get distracted by that. Oh, I guess all this caffeine I've been drinking all day is not helping. TurboTech. Is this JavaScript? No, I'm looking at how to write Go. I'm trying to learn how to write Go. Hey, Opie. Knock that off. I do like JavaScript. I mean, I do know JavaScript. Also, TurboTech, it's the first time I've seen you in my chat, so thanks for stopping in and dropping a message. We appreciate you. Oh no, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. Get reset. What is it? Get reset hard? No, soft. I want to get reset. Get reset soft. Yeah, get reset dash dash soft. Head 1. Yeah, there we go. Git commit m feature learn about middlewares is what I meant. TurboTech, yeah. No JavaScript here today. Sometimes it's JavaScript, sometimes it's TypeScript, sometimes it's C#. Right now it's Go at the moment. Why is it Go? I don't know. It was a very strange, very strange and random desire to learn Go that popped up like 3 weeks ago. I mean, some of it had to do with the TypeScript compiler being rewritten in Go, which kind of piqued my curiosity. But yeah, I don't really have a good reason for learning it at the moment. One could probably argue it's not a good use of time. Let's see, make dir sessions. This has been a very productive stream for me, though. Not Gorilla Mux, Gorilla Sessions. Let's see, key equals an array of bytes. And I'm guessing normally you would read this in from some sort of like environment variable or configuration variable. Let's see, store equals sessions dot new cookie store. Doltlish, are you teaching JavaScript? I'm not teaching JavaScript, Doltlish. Are you looking to learn JavaScript? Is that what you're surfing the YouTubes for? Or maybe you already know JavaScript and you're just curious. I don't know. I'm currently trying to learn. I'm trying to teach myself how to write Go. I've already conquered the JavaScript world. Conquered it, yeah. No, that's that's an overstatement. Okay, so session is going to be store.get, and we'll pass in the request. I wonder why you wouldn't put the cookie name up here. Cookie name. Can I access that? I should be able to, right? Because it's just in the global scope. Oh, I need to add Gorilla Sessions, don't I? How do I... Gorilla Sessions. I'm trying to learn HOF for JavaScript. What's HOF? I'm not familiar with that acronym. Okay, so now we need to say if auth session dot what's on the session values authenticated dot, oh my gosh, I don't know how any of the syntax works. It's not okay or not auth. ACP.error w forbidden There we go. There we go. Okay. So then we're gonna print format print line. The Copilot already knows this tutorial. Stop it, Copilot. I'm trying to learn. Func login. Oh, higher order function. I can tell you what they are. Or is there something that you're confused about with them? We actually just wrote some higher order functions in Go just a minute ago. So yeah. We actually just... But happy to answer any questions if you have any questions. I mean, I guess I'm literally writing higher order functions kind of... Well, yeah. No, I guess I'm not right now at the moment. I mean, higher order function takes a function as an argument, or it returns a function as a result. Or it does both. And there's lots of built-in examples of that in the JavaScript language that just come out of the box. A lot of the array methods you work with are higher order functions. authentication name. I'm confused on like how to write it or think through problems with it. Well, at its basic, right? At its basic level, it's just well, let me. I mean, the easiest way to usually think about these things, I think, is in the context of arrays. I think arrays are good examples of this, particularly in JavaScript. Like, let's say you have, let's say var tasks equals an array, and let's say one task is of type, let's say one task is of type YouTube, and then let's say another task is of type, I don't know, Twitch. And I don't know why tasks would have those types. And then let's say, what did I mess up here? Oh, whoops. Okay, so let's say you want to filter those, right? Well, the tasks, the array has a built-in method called filter, and filter takes a function, and the function is going to get called on each one of your items, right? So an anonymous function would look like this. So we say t anonymous, and then we say, well, if t dot type equals yt, then we keep it, right? So the filter function is a higher order function because it takes in a function as a, because it takes in a function as an argument, right? But it doesn't have to be a lambda. So it could be another function that you describe. So you could say function filter tasks. That's going to take in a task, and then it's going to do some work. It's going to say return t.type equals yt. And then you could then say task.filter filter task, like this, and you get the same result, right? Because all filter is going to do is it's going to take my filter task function and it's going to call it on each item in the array. So like this, for example, right, would be equivalent to doing something like this, where you say for const t of tasks, and then saying, then you could say, what would you say, var include, right? Because it's going to return a Boolean value. You could say var include, then call filter tasks on t, say console.log include, close that off. So you can say it's true, and then it's false. I don't know if that helps at all, but like that's to me how I think of it. It's just like a, I mean, and then a higher order function can also return a function, right? So that's kind of the how you would define a function, whether it's high order or not, right? So, and so you could, the best way to think about how to solve problems with them though is like, let's say you have a case where you're looping over something or you're iterating over something and you need to do something differently on each particular item based on a given scenario, that's a perfect example of where you might use a higher order function, because you can pass in, right, some arbitrary thing for each item instead of having to have that like hard coded on each iteration. But I agree, it is kind of a rabbit hole. It is kind of hard to think about. For me though, the more I worked with arrays and the more I worked with the built-in array methods early on, like the more comfortable I got with the idea of functions as a parameter. Like we just did that in Go. Like we did an example in Go like that, right? So let's go back to our advanced middleware, which this isn't JavaScript, but it's the same idea. Right? So here's a higher order function, logging, because it returns a function, and that function returns a function. Right? And then down here, chains. Chain is a higher order function because not only does it take in functions, not only does it take in a function, but then it returns a function. Yeah, it's a little heady, but that's, I mean, again, that's like all of functional programming, right? Is like you're just building up a program that consists of lots and lots of functions calling right down the tree. Like I heard Anders Hallsberg actually talk about it in an interview that like the TypeScript compiler currently, right, is very highly functional in the way it's built. Like he was saying that like the main function in the TypeScript compiler is like a 50-line function with a bunch of functions inside of it. You know? It's definitely different. It's definitely from imperative object-oriented code. It's definitely different way to think. Excuse me. I'm guessing Doltish moved on already. Doltish was like, I'm out of here. Also, why is my mic all of a sudden blasting people's ears off? Huh. Yeah, Doltish, sure. Yeah, send it over, man. OBS is making it seem like my mic is just peaking like crazy. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Is that better? Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, I don't know why OBS was... Yeah, go ahead and send me your example question. I'll be happy to take a look at it, man. All right, let me create a little test bed for us. One sec. Let's see. Write a function, long rows, for each row of array. Concatenate its elements. Include the result in the output of the array. All right, let's see if I can make sense of this. Yeah, so you're basically, hold on, so cd, let's make a directory here. Playground, JS. Let's make an item. Include the result in the output array only if there is no row immediately before it. If there is no row immediately before it with a longer result. Use higher order function in a single pass through the array. What is this some sort of kata? Doltish? It sounds very much like Elite Code or Code Wars kata or something like that. Alright, so let's see. Your input is going to look something like this. Yeah, something like that. And then they want you to write a function with a signature that is function. I don't want Copilot. Function long rows. You'll have an array. You'll have an output. For each row, concatenate its element. So we're going to have to loop over it. For const I of array. And then you're going to concatenate. So I dot join. Which is a string. But you only want to include it in the result in the output array if there is no row immediately before it with a longer result. Immediately before it in the passed in array or the output array? Does it say, Doltish? I'm not sure you need a higher order function. I wonder if it wants us to use reduce. Because I could see us solving this with the reduce method. It doesn't say. Yeah. Well, then we'll just assume it's the output, maybe. No, we'll just assume it's the Yeah, I wonder if what it wants you to do is say return array dot reduce, and then you'd have your callback, and then that initial value. So your callback would be a function, and our initial value will be an array, and then the callback to reduce can have a number of arguments, but the arguments we care about are going to be the accumulator, which is basically our output array. So we can just call this output. And then I, which is our current item. Well, let's actually call this item. And then we'll say current And this will be our index. And I think that's all you need. And then you could say... What could you say? You could say... What was the question? If there's no row immediately before it. So you want the previous. So you could say... var concat concat item equals item dot let's actually make that a const. How did I end up doing a code kata on stream? I don't know how I got here. Item dot join and then you say oh, actually, because this is a string, so what we can do is we can say, if index equals 0, meaning we're at the first item, we can just say return output concat item, like that. I'm guessing this is what they're wanting you to do, is use the reduce method. Antiquate, are you a web developer? I don't work as a web developer, but I do web development, like, you know, as a hobby. And then what you could do is you could say const previous equals index -1. Hey Victor, what's up, man? Array index -1, so that's the previous item. And then you'd say if previous dot length is what? Previous dot unlurk. Nice, C1E. I'm back. What's up, C1E? I'm actually over my time. I need to wrap this up. Somehow I ended up doing a code kata because someone asked about it, and now I've been nerd sniped. What was his question? Let's see. Immediately before it with a longer result. So only if there is no row immediately before it. No row immediately before it, which means the previous needs to be shorter. Previously needs to be less than item.length. And I'm actually going to invert this and return early. Otherwise, we can say ... output. I think we do something like this to answer that. But this would use a higher order function because we're using the reduce method and we only have to go over it in one pass. I think this would work. I guess let's actually try it, huh? Let's see. Function, or actually no, let's say long rows. This needs an array of arrays. So let's see. Let's say like S T E S T, and this would be S. So this should only return STE, right? If we did this right. Oh no, it blew up. This is why you use JavaScript. I mean, this is why you use TypeScript. Oh goodness, I'm in the wrong directory. Let's see. $26. Oh. It would help if I initialized this array correctly, wouldn't it? Oh, it returned. Oh, I need to print that too. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's one way you could use higher order functions to solve that problem. Doltish, I don't know if you're still here, but you nerd sniped me. Probably could simplify this logic a little bit. You might not need this early return. You could actually probably do this. If index is 0 or previous dot length, oh no, if index is not 0 and previous dot length is not shorter than item dot length, we just return output. We don't add anything to it. I think that would be a little better. Oh, now we screwed it up. Alright, now I want this to be greater. Yeah, greater. All right, I'm not sure how I ended up there, but Doltish threw one at me, and I thought, hey, let me give it a try at this. That was helpful though, thanks. Yeah, Doltish. Yeah, I'm not sure if that, but yeah, that's basically I think what it was after was it was getting you to say, okay, can I use the reduce method to solve this? I don't think that's probably a good illustration of the value of higher order functions myself, but I mean. All right. Well, I'm over here by about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap up. St1e, I will definitely check out your weather app. Okay. So yeah, appreciate you sharing it with us. All right, guys. I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.